Hello everyone, welcome to Chelsea SW6. So, for our upcoming game against Barcelona, I'm going to be doing a tactical analysis of not only Chelsea, but of Barcelona too. Let's start with Barcelona. Barcelona are in the Champions League, basically our toughest opposition yet. They have gone unbeaten in La Liga with 19 out of 24 wins. They've also gone unbeaten in the Champions League group stage with 4 wins out of 6. Under that perspective, I can understand why a lot of pundits believe that Barcelona are favourites in this tie, because we can easily compare them, almost, not fully of course, to Man City in the Premier League. And there are certain similarities in terms of those stats. Now, concerning Chelsea, it isn't as great. We're 4th in the Premier League with 16 wins out of 27 and 6 losses. We came 2nd in the Champions League group stage with 3 wins out of 6 and 1 loss because of the 3-0 loss to Roma away. So, in this sense, because we're only in the FA Cup and the Champions League, and Barcelona at this stage have more of a chance of winning their own league, it's more important for us to win this trophy. Head-to-head stats between these two clubs. Now, excluding pre-season meetings, both teams have met 15 times. They both won 5 times, they both drew 5 times, and they both lost 5 times. And in the last 10 games that they've met, meaning between 2005 and 2012, Chelsea won 3 times, they drew 5 times, and lost twice. And the last time they actually lost was back in 2006. And out of those draws and wins, they were actually quite tight. Barcelona's tactics that they have used under their new manager this season, Ernesto Valverde. One of the tactics that they use is high pressing. And they use that tactic straight from kickoff. What it means is that basically they press as a unit to block the passing lanes and put pressure on players with the ball. To be honest, this is a tactic that Chelsea don't do. It's only been with one or two players. They don't do it as a unit. Switched from a 4-3-3 formation with center defensive midfielder to a 4-4-2 diamond. And in this sense, it allows to narrow the midfield and allows the fullbacks, generally it tends to be Alba and Roberto, to basically go up the field and move into those wide areas that Ernesto Valverde loves to use. Is basically revolves around Messi. And if we've seen Messi play over the last few games, especially throughout his career, he loves to basically drop deep into midfield, and by doing so, he sometimes draws a centre-back with him. Now, by drawing back a centre-back in a four-man defensive line, it allows to basically break that defensive line, and in this type of formation of the 4-4-2 diamond, allows Suarez to basically exploit that position. Chelsea's strengths and weaknesses going into the game against Barcelona. Now let's first start with the weaknesses. Two main weaknesses going into this game. Firstly, it's basically the left centre back position. And the reason why I think it's basically a major weakness is because with Cahill and Rudiger, we have two players that they seem to have a poor positional awareness. And that could be a problem, especially when you come up against a team like Barcelona. The other thing is that Cahill doesn't seem to cope very well under pressure and under limited space. I mean, the Bournemouth game was a very good example of that. Now, the second part of the weakness, I would say deploying a 3-5-2 formation or 3-5-1-1, whatever you want to call it. I believe it would be wrong for Conte to deploy that formation against Barcelona is the following. Using that formation allows Busquets to roam free. The two centre-back going marking Hazard and you'll have no one who's marking Busquets, and Busquets is pretty threatening if you leave him on his own to roam free. And so in this sense, Hazard will just have to drop deep and cover Busquets. Now, let's say that actually works. The fullbacks will basically turn into wingbacks. We have a 1v1 scenario in Barcelona's midfield, because you'll have our wingbacks covering their fullbacks. You'll have our three fielders, center midfielders, covering their other midfielders that are left. And yeah, so it's basically like a 1v1 scenario. And then afterwards you're left with our three center backs and Messi and Suarez. Now, in this sense, this gives Messi the space to basically drop deep and to lure one of the defenders out. And therefore, Suarez can basically exploit that space. Now, in the last part of this video, I'm basically going to go over my predicted lineup. And as you've seen through the previous parts, you'll know that basically I favor a 3-4-3 formation for Chelsea, and I believe that Barcelona would go with a 4-4-2 diamonds formation. Now let's start off with my predicted Barcelona team lineup. I believe they're going to have Ter Stegen in goal, Roberto, Umtiti, Piqué and Alba in defense, Busquets, Rakitic, Iniesta as captain and Paulinho in midfield, and then Messi and Suarez up top. As for Chelsea, I believe we're going to have Courtois in goal, Azpilicueta, Christensen and Rudiger in defense, Moses, Kante, Fabregas and Alonso in midfield, and then Pedro, Morata and Hazard up front. Now, to be honest, it was tough to decide between Giroud and Morata because, I mean, Giroud's link-up play and hold-up play is amazing to watch. He's also quite strong, and he's strong enough to deal with physical duels, and he's also tall enough to deal with aerial duels. However, Morata is more of a technical player, and he's faster compared to Giroud. He also has more hands-on experience with Barcelona, and that's something that we should exploit to our advantage. That's why I believe he should be in the starting 11. Of course, it's very tight to choose between the two, but I think Morata just nicks it. Alright, that's it from me. I hope to see some of you at the game tomorrow, but until then, you guys have a great day, and leave a like if you enjoyed this. Until then, I guess I will see you tomorrow at the game. Ciao.
Let's go inside like that. Just do it straight from the first one. No, just kind of
Thanks Alex for that, and it's all about one word only, and that's believe, and that's what we've all got to do. And more than anything tonight, those players need our help. We've got to really push them on. That stadium has got to be absolutely electric. We're close to the pitch. Let's get behind them for 90 minutes or whatever it takes, and let's push them over the line. We've done it before, we can do it again. We've got a great record against Barcelona, so let's just play to our strengths, and let's just 90 miles an hour for 90 minutes. Let's go do it. Listen, no one expected the result last night with Wigan, with Manchester City. No one's expecting us to beat Barcelona, and it's a two-game situation, so it's we're going to have to really perform like we've not done all season. But we know we've got it in us to produce the goods when it really, really matters the most. With Chelsea FC, as I said, lads, believe.
Hi, it's Colin Pates here, ex-Chelsea, 400 games. Don't forget to subscribe to Chelsea SW6.